Welcome back to Kettlebottom Outdoor Pursuits. We got some Seaduck breasts here. What are we gonna do with these, AJ?
Well, I figured we'd make some jerky today. You know, jerky is a really easy at-home recipe to do. So we're gonna start off by trimming the full breast. They're still partially frozen, which is pretty perfect. Tommy, you can start on this. What you wanna do is really get rid of a lot of the silver skin, the fat, obviously keep an eye out for any shot, you know, feathers, things like that, and just kind of really clean them up before we make the brine. So while Tommy's trimming those up, I'm gonna go ahead and prepare the brine. We just have a gallon of really cold water. We have a tablespoon of garlic powder and a quarter cup of table salt. We're gonna go ahead and just dissolve the salt and the garlic into the water and get this brine started. Get the blues another day. Get the blues another day. Yeah. The way you move, baby, for a while. So now that the breasts are pretty well nice and trimmed up, we're gonna put them back in the freezer for probably 45 minutes to an hour until the meat really kind of starts to firm up. So what that does is it makes it easier for us to make nice thin slices for the jerky. So it's been about an hour, and we're gonna go ahead and take the duck breasts out of the freezer now. They should be nice and firm for us to cut into strips. So we're gonna go ahead and start cutting these things up. So now that we have the breast all sliced up, we're gonna go ahead and add our cold brine to the meat and let it sit for about an hour, and then go ahead and change the brine out. So then just kind of move the breasts around and make sure the brine really gets into all of it, and you know, we're gonna cover it up and let it sit in the fridge for about an hour. It's really important for it to be in the fridge and important for it to stay cold throughout the whole process so it doesn't allow any kind of growth of any bacteria or whatever. All right, so now that we've brined the duck breast 4 times, we're gonna go ahead and strain them out and start to dry them off before we add the marinade. So Tommy, go ahead and get going on that while I mix up the marinade. All right, so I estimate that we have about 5 or 6 pounds of duck breast all said and done, so we kind of made the recipe to fit 6 pounds of meat. So first we'll start with 3/4 of a cup of soy sauce. We use 6 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, 6 tablespoons of liquid smoke, hickory flavor. We use another 6 tablespoons of table salt. We use 6 tablespoons of brown sugar. Next, we have 3 teaspoons of onion powder, 3 teaspoons of coarse black pepper, 3 teaspoons of meat tenderizer, 3 teaspoons of garlic powder, and then finally we have 3 tablespoons of Hungarian hot paprika. Get some spice to it. And that's all good. Then we just mix up all these ingredients, and then we're good to start marinating. So Tommy went ahead and strained the duck and patted them all dry, and you can tell by the difference in color that the brine has really done its work. So we're gonna put the meat in the Ziploc baggie and then cover it in the marinade and let it sit in the fridge overnight. Good morning, we're back and just pulled our udder breasts out of the fridge. They've been marinating overnight, and we're gonna go ahead and put them in the dehydrator and get them ready to cure. If If you don't have a dehydrator, you can make it in the oven also. You can just put your oven on the lowest setting and just prop the door open a little bit to let the moisture out so it you know, gets a nice drying cure. Yeah, let's start rocking and rolling with this. You wanna dig in? And we're just gonna, you know, wanna lay these things out as flat as possible. We just wanna make sure there's space in between so that you get a good circulation through the whole system. And looks pretty good so far. You just don't want to pack them so tight that, you know, it restricts any airflow at all. And you can even do this in 2 steps. If you have too much meat for the one dehydrator, you can just dehydrate a batch and put the rest, the marinade, back in the fridge and come back and do the rest later. Now that we have the trays all filled up, we're going to go ahead and get it started. This particular unit, high temperature is 160, and that's perfect for jerky. So we're gonna go ahead and set it to 160 and wait the 4 to 6 hours and see how it comes out. So it's been about 5 hours now. We're gonna go ahead and take a look and see how these jerkies came out.
So good.
Very good.
So good. Can't wait to take this in the deer stand with me. A little Ziploc baggie.
So that about does it for our Seaduck Jerky. Thanks very much for joining us. And you know, for recipes or more info, check out our site, kettlebottom.com. We'll see you next time on Kettlebottom Outdoor Pursuits.